So here's the deal. Throw this in the Q&A, guys, what the answer is to annual employee production. Not even your best employee, but what does an average employee produce in a year? And just, a quick way to get there is to look at like how much revenue they produce in a week and then figure out how many weeks you operate out of the year. For example, I know that in our maid service business, our good employees will do around 75,000 of revenue production in a year. In our like 60 to 75. Some can push 75. They'll do well over $1,000 a week, but $1,000 a week, yeah, they'll do well over $1,000 a week. They'll do 75,000 in maid service. Window cleaning and pressure washing, more like 150,000 a year, probably double that from a production standpoint. And we shut down for 4 months out of the year. So I'd imagine some of you guys can probably push 200 to 300,000 a year. I was talking to one of my clients that does landscape lighting today, and we calculated that conservatively 3 guys on his truck should be able to do 1.2 million. We thought if they crushed it, if they had a good day every day, they could do 1.6. And we said that's, they're not going to have a good day every day. So let's say 1.2 million. That's 3 guys. So that'd be, the guy could do $400,000 in landscape lighting per human. So give me a few more of you chime in here if you have an idea of what that answer is for your business. How much can an employee produce? Ours are kind of 75 or 150. Anybody else have that math? Figure that out. How much can their employee produce in a year? I'm going to just work with like kind of the average, given that data set of $100,000. So let's say $100,000. Now I did put in what the net profit margin is on average. Some of us, if we're sole proprietors and we're doing the work, our profit margin looks crazy percentage wise, but really it's just our paycheck. Like we don't segregate our wage versus profit. So I know in home cleaning, 10% would be a nice profit margin after you take a wage. The owner gets 10% profit. The operator gets a wage, right? If you're in landscape lighting, you're pushing 20, 25%. If you're in holiday lights, you're probably around there. Landscaping, window cleaning, pressure washing, garage floor coatings, everyone's between like 10 and 25%. If they're a scaled business taking a paycheck and getting owner's profit. So looking at profit margin, I'm going to conservatively say 15%. That's a little on the low end, but I think if we're running a decent business, we could do 15%. So that would be net profit of $15,000, right? I'm not going to answer this question yet because I think this is up to you, and it's a risk profile question, but this is basically telling us an employee brings us $15,000 a year. Like after we pay them, after we pay ourselves a paycheck, after we pay all of our overhead expenses, after we pay for the marketing for the next clients, after we pay every single expense in our business to generate $100,000 of revenue, every employee brings us $15,000. Now let's do this one, annual client value. Now chime in on how much your client pays you annually, revenue-wise. How much money do you get from an average client in a year? In my businesses, maid service, it's around $3,000 maybe. Some more, some less, depending on how often they recur. Window cleaning and pressure washing, it's maybe at like just under $1,000. We have some commercial clients that are $10,000-$20,000, but like we have some that are $300. So I'd say on average, maybe around $1,000 per client per year. Throw some answers out here, you guys. Let me see what your clients pay you. But let's say $4,000. Now, same business model, right? We're bringing $4,000 of revenue. We still have to pay the labor. We still have to pay all the expenses, right? So our average client brings $600. And so I think like this is enough to see what we need to see, right? It's like, okay, we have an employee that's worth $15,000 in our pocket, and we have an average net profit for a client that's $600. Our employees are 25 times more valuable than our clients, just like purely mathematically, based on the numbers that we're throwing in here. So now I kind of threw out this question, how much can you spend? I think even a better question is like, how much do you spend? Our Minneapolis window cleaning business did just under 1.1 million in revenue last year. We were actually at like 11% profit margin. We grew well, but we made some investments that didn't pay off. So how much did we spend? We spent $150,000 on this. We spent 15%, a little under 15% of our 1.1 million. Our average client value in our Minneapolis business is $450. $450 average client. Maybe not average client, average visit. I think our average client is probably like $600 because a lot of them will go in the spring and the fall. Spent $150,000 on that. It was fine. We still made a lot of money, right? It's a $1.1 million business. We're trying to aggressively grow. Here's what I want you guys to guess. How much did we spend on recruiting? A $1.1 million business. Our employees do $150,000 a year, roughly. The ones that work all year that we don't let go. Here's what we spent just on the recruiting ads. Now I'm going to go back to that P&L. Check this out. This is that business, you guys. This is that business. This is the real numbers. I show this to everybody I do a bookkeeping demo with. Like I said, we did 11% profit. We didn't crush it. Recruiting goes under variable overhead. We spent $153,000 on this marketing. Like I said, we did just under 1.1 million. Here's the thing. We spent $33,000 on recruiting. Was that even enough? Right? Like at the beginning of the year, Sean, if you would have told me, hey, Dan, we need to spend $33,000 on job ads in Minneapolis, how absurd. I think the year before we spent $20,000, the year before we spent $20,000, like coming out of COVID. And I was like, man, I'm glad we're never going to have to do that again. But here's the deal, you guys. In March, we had 2 dudes. And Sean talked about, we had a business where we hired 40 people. I think we hired 45 here. We had 2 dudes in March. In June, we had 15. Yeah, we have some seasonality in Minneapolis, but look at what our revenue did. You think that was because we were great at sales and marketing? No. You can see what this variable overhead where our recruiting falls. Spent nothing. I think we spent $4,000, $5,000, $5,000. And then June, I don't know that we spent anything. The other thing that happened is we had a lot of repairs and maintenance after we hired a bunch of 20-year-old kids to drive our transit vans. They all needed new tires. And new windshields. But my point is this, you guys. We talk about investing in our businesses. And no matter which industry we're in, if we're in landscape lighting, if we're in holiday lighting, if we're in maid service, if we're in window cleaning, pressure washing, landscaping, we're not selling widgets, you guys. We're selling people. Our equipment doesn't scale our business. Our marketing helps, but it only helps if we have the employees. The only thing that scales our business is our employees. Even in a recession, whoever has the best employees is always going to win. It's the only way you can be confident to invest $153,000 in marketing. We never would have been able to spend $153,000 in marketing if we hired 45 people. Like I said, we had 15. So hire fast, fire fast, right? But the math shows us so clearly. And we're like, we're afraid to invest in it. But this math shows us so ridiculously clearly that this is where the value is. And even then, we spent $33,000. I'm embarrassed by the fact that our employees are 25 times more valuable than our customers, and yet we value them as 1/5 of the value of our customers based on how much we are willing to spend to find them. It's like embarrassing. And I think we're aggressive. Like we invest a lot to find good employees, and we did. We found great employees. So it worked. It was the right amount of investment. But to scale your business profitably, there's like no wrong answer. An employee's worth $15,000. We could have spent $14,999 per employee, and we still would have been better off, right? And most of us look at boosting a few $100 and we're like, man, that sounds expensive. And yet we'll sign up for like an SEO contract with no guarantees, any customers coming from our SEO work for $2,000 a month into perpetuity, right? We're like conditioned to spend money on marketing when recruiting is where all the value is. So anyway, I'll get off my bookkeeping high horse, but I think pre-2021, I wasn't convinced that was the best place to invest our money. Post-2021, I'm like, Sean, is there a place we could possibly spend more money on recruiting? Like, why aren't we putting more money there? Why wouldn't we want more better people? There's plenty of houses out there that need what we have.